Hello and happy holidays. Today, the topic that I'm going to cover is website content, online content, anything related to copywriting, images, and really anything that has textual content tied into it that is on the internet in relation to your dental office and the services you provide. Today, in this example, I'm going to be using Invisalign as the primary topic because Invisalign is popular. A lot of dental offices are offering this as a service, and I think it will be easier to understand than some of the other topics. All right, so let's get started in this. So the first question that I'm going to ask is, what is Google comprised of? What makes up Google and a search engine like Google? That's very simple, and that's answered with content. Okay? Content, primarily copywriting. Descriptions about things, descriptions about services, information about services, frequently asked questions about services, and anything related to products or services. Next, in relation to that, is other types of content like videos, which can also be translated into text. So, for example, on YouTube, when a video can be converted and subtitles can be added to a video, for example, that includes text, and that text can be interpreted and read and understood by search engines. So the point is that everything and anything that anybody searches online for your dental office is going to be found based on contextual content that describes you or your services in some connection in some way. And this even goes into things like reviews. Reviews is also copy, meaning that the search engine, like Google, can scan your reviews, your Google reviews, for example, and determine what people are saying and the subjects that they're talking about. For example, Invisalign, dental implants, or anything else. Let's get right to it in this example down here. So we know that content is the primary part of a search engine like Google. And some of the points that I went over were copywriting, images, video, PDF, audio, transcripts, translations, and other types of data. Over here on the right-hand side, what I have are two circles. These circles represent volume of content related to a specific topic. In this case, we're talking about Invisalign. Okay? So we talk about volume as in the amount or quantity of something, a space that's being taken up by something. So if you think of Google as a giant circle, and let's say that a very, very, very small percentage of that circle is taken up by the dental industry. All right? And I can use one of these examples, or actually what I'll do is I'll draw a simple but not so perfect example of Google. We'll just call this Google. And let's say within Google, there's this section that's specifically dental related. Okay? Not that you can read that. So in that subsection, there are going to be other topics like Invisalign, okay? So what you're trying to do when you are, let's say that you want to build your Invisalign delivery base, meaning you want to really deliver that, you want to let people know in a specific town that you're in that you are the king of Invisalign, you deliver Invisalign, you're the best at it, you want people to find you. So you basically have to start filling up the space. You have to start filling the Google space with Invisalign related content. Now, keep in mind, let's say that you offer 15 other major services. Maybe you offer dental implants, veneers, crowns, teeth whitening, cleaning, x-rays, and all these other types of services that are involved at a general dentist. Well, if you're also offering all of those and you're going for the Invisalign market, you can be competing with yourself in a way. In other words, you can dilute the amount of volume that you have of Invisalign for other services that you offer, so you're not maximizing what you're trying to target. So if you get what I'm saying, in other words, that basic simple way to explain this is, think about like driving down, or let's say that there's a major road in your city, okay? There's a major road, and on that road, you have signs. There's a limited amount of signs on that road. But you want every person on that major route through that town to know that you offer Invisalign. Now, let's say there's 5 signs total, and let's say that each one of those signs has sections on it that you can put different parts of your service. I know this is getting a little elaborate, but I'm really just trying to explain how Google thinks in terms of data and how you can make Google work for you, and more importantly, help those prospective patients or clients that are looking for the services that you're offering. So in other words, if you're really good at something, you want to make sure that the rest of the world and the city and town that you live in knows about it, so that you can, create more business in that space that you are proficient at, that you really believe is your best service. And again, this isn't to speak to say that Invisalign is your only service or all you do. My only point in this is to explain that you have to develop content related to the topic that you're trying to get the most exposure about. And you need to be specific about that content, because if you're not specific, then you dilute it out. And in other words, you don't become an opinion leader per se on a specific topic. You're kind of just general. You're kind of spread out all over the place. You don't really have one strong position or another on any specific topic. So this again only applies really if you're really trying to specialize or target a specific market, a specific product or service. Okay, let's go back to this example here. So there's two points that have to be considered in this, and this is the point of SEO and the content. And the SEO is the search engine optimization aspect of the content. In other words, images, website pages, Facebook, and other places where your data and address and information exists, all is connected and related and has interactions that help you rank in Google and other search engines. So just working on your website, for example, isn't necessarily enough. Just working on Facebook isn't necessarily enough to really hone in and build that reputation that you're trying to, okay? The bottom line in all of this is 2 things you have to think about. You can pay for advertising space, which is different than your standard search engine optimization. But ideally, you want to build up a search engine optimization reputation with the products and services you offer, so that you can balance out and offset the cost of your advertising. In other words, you could do just advertising forever, and that's fine. And you should always be advertising. Don't ever stop advertising. But balance it out with good search engine optimization. So it's a 2-pronged approach, where if one's weak one month, the other may pick up strength and it may bounce back and forth. Just an example. But if you're serious about growing your dental practice, and any business for that matter, in other words, if you're trying to build your client base, build that patient base, build those families and those referrals and everything else that you need to be doing to build the wealth that your practice needs in order to cover payroll, leases, mortgage, insurance, everything else that you have to cover in costs, you know, this all has to be considered, you know, and if that's part of your goal is to grow that, you've got to be advertising, you've got to be focusing on SEO, and you've got to hone in on your target market and your products and the services that you really specialize in and that you really want to work at. Now, you can specialize in 10 products, but the volume has to increase on all of those if you really want to put the focus in on them. Okay? So if you just have 2 or 3 products, you're really, you know, let's just say you really are putting all your focus on implant work and Invisalign, let's just hypothetically say, not that that's normal per se, but just hypothetical, you know, you would want to build your volume on both of those topics, both of those subjects, and hone in on those, you know. And I'm not going to get into the specifics on this specific show, but one thing that also needs to be considered is the quality of the content. Is the content original? Is it duplicated? Is it provided, you know, in mass to hundreds or thousands of other dental offices throughout the United States and other places? These are all factors that have to be considered when you're creating good content. So when we talk about the question, the original question and all of this, when we look at, is content really king? All that Google is content. So this question answers itself. Content is all there is. So if you put your focus on content, and again, it's not limited to your website. There's many, many other areas online that content should and will be placed in order to be successful in this. Okay? And it's not limited to just your standard search engine optimization. There's also advertising to take into consideration. There's social media profiles to take into consideration. There's NAP data profiles, which is name, address, phone number data profiles. There can be hundreds of those available for you in your dental office to take advantage of. Not to mention backlinks, you know, things, websites and other influencers that link back to your dental office, to your website, connected to your Google business profile, and many other factors, okay? So I'm going to end this with 2 quick things. Don't ever think that search engine optimization and generating new patients is an overnight switch process. You know, 10 years ago, things were a lot easier. The internet is all now. It is primarily all. Even when mass postcards are sent out today in a dental office campaign, those users are going online and researching and reading and comparing you with other competitors when they're looking for a dentist. Even personal family referrals are going online. They get a name, they go online, they look you up, they read about you, your reviews, what do you specialize in, you know, photos, videos, everything else you've got to offer. These are all being perused by potential prospects for your dental office. So don't ever think for a second that anything you're doing online is invaluable or that it won't contribute to your overall long-term value and it won't help feed back to you. That goes into a whole other topic of duplicating what value you're actually getting back from your investment. That's a separate thing. That's also very critical to understand. So I'm going to be covering a lot of this. And as you know, if you see my videos, you know that I go over all this stuff. I touch on all of it. I'm going to be getting into a lot more of it in 2021. I have so many questions to answer from clients, from prospective clients, from surveys that I've done and speaking at conferences. Lots of questions that I'm going to answer in these videos. So I hope this was helpful. End this with content is king. Get your content right. Make it effective. Make it work for you. Make it work for you, not against you and not against your goals. Jason Wydro here with Wydro Media and Golden Dental Marketing. Thank you for watching. Happy holidays and wishing you a great day.